So today we'll be taking a detailed look at one of the new units in Anime Last Stand, added with update 54. This guy seems very strong, capable of making other units do billions more damage. Hopefully you guys enjoy the video. If you do, maybe leave a like or subscribe. But anyways, let's get into it. I think it might be time to claim this guy. I gotta try him out for myself. So Shisui right here. Boom. Let's go ahead and reroll on him, see if we can get lucky. Okay, starting with pearls, let's see here. Can we get something in 3? 3 we got from the quest there. "20 pearls, come on, give me strength." Okay, not what I'm looking for. There we go. I'll take it, I'll take it. Apparently this is his best one because he can actually crit with his follow-up attack. Now with re-rolling, 4x is on. I'm kind of broke right now. I got kind of shafted on Bulma. But luckily we're only looking for a pretty garbage trait on this guy. For I think the first time in a very long time, we actually want him to roll either Shinigami or All-Seeing. I'd actually prefer Shinigami on him. That's what I'm going to go for personally. Come on, I just want Shinigami here. Overlord, okay. Bad luck, it's fine. Unlucky. We just keep going. We're gonna keep that for now. We definitely want to get at least All-Seeing on him. I'll take it. Finally, let's get better stats on him. We're looking for double S or higher. That's actually a really good pull. Okay. I might not even have to use perfect cubes on that. I think that's actually good enough to just keep it. Wow. That is really lucky, because I don't really care about the damage on this guy too much, personally. But we can evolve him now. Alright, our Shusu is looking pretty good for what we want to try out, so we can evolve him now. Here we go. And I probably want to go for the skill tree on this guy to get him the max crit chance we can. So I'm going to go farm skill tree on him real quick. Hip hip hooray! We're done farming kills on this guy, so we can actually max out his skill tree. And I think we want to go for a pretty standard crit and range build, so... If we take a look at his stats here, we do have max upgrade 94.5 range with a crit chance of 65% with the soul precision. So why we built this guy kind of wonky with all-seeing and strength, and why we don't really care about the double S damage, we're kind of using him as a support for the most part. He's kind of like a crit raw damage buffer, or at least hopefully a crit unit. We'll kind of test him out and mess around with his passives, but pretty much. Because this guy can pretty much clone the damage of other units on your team, I think he's going to bring a revival to a damage-focused team, like a raw DPS, no dot or anything team. So this is what we're running. We're going to mess around with Shisui a little bit and see how crazy he is, because I think he's a little bit more OP than people realize. Okay, we're here on a Nightmare Babylon Infinite, the hardest infinite in the game. And when we take a look at Shisui, he's looking pretty underwhelming on placement. His stats are not too crazy, especially when you have All-Seeing and Strength on him. But when we click the info tab, this is where it gets a little bit interesting. So I'm going to summarize these two passives here. First up, Envy a Curse is going to mark the strongest unit in his range and give it a 25% chance to perform a follow-up attack every time it attacks that can do 75% of the marked unit's damage. Growing Envy, the most important part here for what we're trying to test in this video, is going to be the up to 25% chance increase to the follow-up attack being performed. So, in simple terms, with you giving time to all these passives to kind of ramp up, he is going to have a 50% chance for the strongest unit in his range to perform a follow-up attack, dealing 75% of their damage. You can see the Envy marker above my Gilgamesh's head here, and that just means he has a chance to follow-up attack now, and deal slightly reduced damage. Now where this gets crazy, I believe, or so I've heard in the community and what we're trying out today, is when you have up to 3 Shisuis down, that all seem to have their different passives applying on different units, because if we sold our Gilgamesh here, Shisui now becomes the strongest unit in our range, and because Shisui can't buff himself, he is now shredding the Envy marks to a bunch of different units. So that leads me to believe all 3 Shisuis have their own separate Envy stack that they can apply, which means that we can buff Gilgamesh's damage by a lot. Pretty much giving him another 200% damage increase if we get good RNG. So what exactly I want to try out in this video is going to be how all 3 different Shisui stacks are going to apply, and if they can crit. Because if the follow-up attacks can crit, That is a huge damage increase for raw DPS teams. So we brought Gojo along to kind of test it out easier. Gojo is a slow attacking raw DPS unit that I don't think is a multi-hit. So if we throw our Gojo down in the range of our Shisuis, Gojo has the NV stack above him. He is the strongest unit in their range. If we were to max out our Gojo, and let's go ahead and throw him on last here so we can see his damage numbers easier. He is hitting for... I see a lot of different ticks actually kicking in there, but some of them are doing 1.65 bill. I think that is like when he crits. I really can't even tell. If you look at all the damage numbers from Gojo, he is going pretty crazy with the damage ticks there. His normal raw DPS is supposed to be 546 mil with no crit. Looks like that might be the case. If we throw it on our Goro to buff them, so increase the crit chance of our Gojo and our Shisuis here. Let's try and catch the different numbers from our Gojo here. So 1x speed to catch it easier. We have 2.2 bill. I'm assuming that is just the initial crit from him with no Shisui buff kicking in. I'm guessing he's doing 2.2 mil per attack. So every 10 seconds, yeah, we see... Looks like 2.2 bill. Sorry, not mil. 2.2 bill. Now what I'm wondering is when Shisui is going to do his follow-up attack, can we see the individual ticks kicking in there? Let's go on 2x speed, a little bit faster, but still want to try and catch those damage numbers in action. Okay, I saw two double 3.3 bills actually, from just Gojo, with Shisui buff. I'm wondering if those were both follow-up attacks that were actually critting, because if so, I think that Shisui's crit damage might actually matter, because 3.3 bill, I don't think our Gojo is reaching on his own. But when we look at his damage, 4.13 bill, 4.62, yeah, our Gojo here, hitting for roughly 2.2 bill on his own, it looks like. And he should be, yeah, he should still have envy on him. He should be getting follow-up attacks every now and then. I shouldn't really see them happening too often. I'm not sure if we're getting unlucky. 3.3 bill. I did see a stacking one there. It looks like the follow-up attacks are working, and Gojo's doing multiple billion per hit. I'm not sure if we can try this out on, like, Gilgamesh, for example, because Gilgamesh, this would make it really OP if it actually worked on him. So he's a unit doing 1.25 bill already. If we were to throw him down in Shisui's range, just go ahead and move him real quick. And I don't know if he's a multi-hit unit. He might be. It's kind of hard to tell. But he's hitting for multiple billions per tick, even without dot effects kicking in. 2.19 bill, 4.38 bill. I think it might be safe to say the follow-up attacks are working. And what they're doing is adding billions of DPS onto units, which is really crazy. To get a clearer idea of the follow-up attacks on my Gojo, I threw him back down all alone here, targeting with 3 Shisuis buffing him. I think normally Gojo is not a multi-hit, so we should see multiple ticks of damage, which will confirm if all 3 Shisuis can apply their NV on one unit. And it's kind of hard to tell right now. I do see overlapping numbers, but I'm not sure how many there actually are. A little bit hard to tell. It might be actually just one Shisui counterattacking. It might not even be all 3. It definitely is able to crit though, I think, because it's doing 1.65 billion sometimes, I believe. But I'm not sure if all 3 are being applied. It's kind of hard to tell because we have to get lucky and also be watching for overlapping numbers here. Yeah, I don't think the follow-up attacks count for Shisui's personal total damage, but if they do, looks like a pretty even split right here. Okay, yeah, final verdict. In my opinion, I think this looks like one follow-up attack at a time can kick in, not all 3. So the rumors I've heard about Shisui being very good for stacking 3 attacks from one unit, I don't think those are true. I think Shisui can only buff with 1 placement passive, so you might as well just have Glacier Avatar on him. I do see overlapping numbers per enemy, but I don't see more than 2 at a time on my Gojo. Well, I think that's going to be all for this video. I just wanted to try out 2 things. 1, if Shisui's follow-up attack can crit, and 2, if multiple Shisuis can actually apply the same passive. In the end, they definitely can crit, so he's very strong for increasing unit damage overall, but I'm not sure if having 3 placements of him is necessary. I personally wasn't able to tell if there were enough numbers going on to kind of explain 3 Shisuis going off at once. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. I do think Shisui is pretty underrated and very strong. Anyways, thank you to my channel members for making this video possible. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one, and have a great day.